Hi Gemini, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your December 2025 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, it's Taurus we have from us. The Celtic cross spread as always, and also pulled the 4 agreements and wisdom the oracle card for you guys. But we're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology axes we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. Alright, we have Pluto. And Pluto is actually in Aquarius, which is your ninth house of philosophy, higher learning, and foreign affairs. We have 3, so third house energy for you guys is Leo. Astrologically speaking, it's going to be pretty quiet in that area of the zodiac, but of course, you guys are the natural rulers of the third house, so there could definitely be a focus on communication, short journeys, and siblings this month. And we have Pisces. So Pisces is actually your 10th house of career and social status. There's going to be quite a bit of movement there, actually. At the time of recording this, we haven't had Saturn start its direct cycle yet, but it will on the 27th of November. And then Pisces will also start a direct cycle. Neptune will also start a direct cycle in Pisces on the 10th of December. So definitely some shifting there, which, again, like I said, points to your career, social status. So you could be going through some changes there as well. But we'll keep all that in mind as we go to the main spread. In the main situation position, we have the Devil, Capricorn energy, and challenging that, we have the High Priestess. Usually I view this as a Pisces energy. Looking at these two things here, could just be saying that maybe you found yourselves getting wrapped up in a bad habit, maybe a situation that you found that's hard for you to release. And I feel like this is saying with the High Priestess in the challenge position, it seems like deep down you know that you need to release this thing, but there's some resistance to it, and possibly even just flat out denying what you're intuitively feeling around the situation. In the foundation position, we have the Hermit. So I feel like this is saying, as opposed to trusting what intuitively you're feeling, I feel like you want whatever you are feeling to be backed up with concrete facts, right? So that's the thing. And maybe even that's what it is with the Devil energy, which could just be saying maybe that's what you're tied to, right? Where even if you're getting these intuitive hunches and you know, it just keeps really coming back to you really strongly, might be like, okay, I know I'm getting this feeling, but I need to see something that shows that this is really what it is versus me just misconstruing the situation. So now, I guess it is a good thing to really dig into things and want to make sure you're making the right move, but it just feels like, you might just be leaning a little bit too heavily toward wanting to see the concrete evidence before doing something. All right, in the past position, we have Temperance. So to me, this says more than likely you weren't always feeling this way. So this could have been a more recent thing where maybe for whatever reason you started to trust your intuition a little bit less. And there's been plenty of chaotic energies going around, astrologically speaking. So I could list a whole bunch of them that could be pointing to that. I mean, the most recent one, we do have Mercury retrograde going on right now, which is part of why I'm struggling to speak at times here. But yeah, could just be as simple as that, but for some of you, it could be longer term things where, again, like I said, I feel like you used to be really comfortable incorporating the intuitive with the practical, but now you seem to be really disregarding the intuitive side of things. In the present position, we have the Two of Cups. So, Cancerian energy here. And this could just be saying there could be a new opportunity coming your way. So, of course, people tend to think of love relationships when they see this card in particular, but could be any kind of partnership, friendship, financial partnership, you name it. But yeah, looks like that's what's coming into play for you guys at this time, and especially given that this is Cancerian energy, which for you guys is more of a financial house. It could be a business related thing, but either way, it looks like there's a meeting of the minds, where you just talk with this person and you just seem to hit it off naturally. In the near future position, we have the Five of Pentacles. So this is Taurus energy here. And yeah, I'm almost getting a similar energy to what I was saying before with the devil, the high priestess, right? The hermit. Because if we look at the contrast in energies here, we see with the water energy, with the cup energy, everything's light and vibrant. And then we see here with the earthly energy, right? The pentacles, we see like a bogged down energy going through a bit of a rough stretch, right? So I feel like this is saying, you might just get stuck in your head, but on the wrong side of things. Where again, like I said, you could feel these things come along to you, and you just need to calculate some concrete reason why it's happening, and can you trust it, right? So, I mean, it could just be one of those things where maybe trusting your intuition in the past might have gotten you burned, right? So it's just one of those things where you're a little bit too wary of trusting it again, but it seems like it's to your detriment at this time. All right, the position of your influence in the situation, we have the Page of Swords. So, seeing this energy here could just be saying that maybe you just feel a little bit unsure of yourselves around something. So, yeah, maybe for some of you, with that Two of Cups energy, maybe this is something new that you started recently, right? So, there could be a little bit of hesitancy on your part to trust what you know, right? So, again, like I said, intuitively, you might just be led in this situation, but because you feel like, oh, I don't really know all the facts here, you could just be a little reluctant to really trust it and lean into it. In the environment position, we have Justice. So yeah, so Libra energy here. To me, this looks like this is just saying that you can trust what's going on around you. So again, like I said, one of the trickiest things to do is get out of your head around the situation, right? So could just be saying easier said than done there, but I feel like this is saying that eventually you will start to see outward evidence of things really playing out in a positive way for you this month. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Magician. So yeah, so seeing this here, I feel like this is saying, again, I'm getting a theme of maybe you just want to control a little bit too much. I feel like there is a lack of trusting things, and you feel like you want to just know everything's going to play out exactly the way you want it to, right? Because normally you see the Magician energy, you'd view it as a positive, but given the context of what we're seeing in the whole spread so far, it seems more like it's a negative where you like just feel that compulsive need to control things. And funny enough, speaking of which, that could be pointing to this Pluto energy that we saw with the dice too, because that can point to an energy of really wanting to be controlling around certain things. And in the outcome position, we have the Strength card. So, funny enough, when we talk about control, right? If you look at the artwork here, which is Major Arcana Energy for Leo, by the way, which is your third house, which also came up with the dice. This could just be saying you might actually catch on to that at some point this month. Then you do start to realize you like, you know what? Okay, let me tame that, more basic nature of my thinking process, right? And just trust a little bit more. I have a little bit more faith. And again, like I said, it seems like it will be to your benefit this month if you do so. All right, and bottom of the deck we have the Seven of Wands. So Leo energy here as well. So yeah, this could just be saying that maybe there's a lot of demands being placed on your time as well, right? So maybe that's part of it too, where you're like maybe a little bit overwhelmed to where there's too many things going on, and that could be what's jamming your thought process and leading to you not being able to trust your intuition as well. But if that's the case, I feel like this is saying ultimately you'd have the upper hand anyway, so obviously it'd still be a frustrating situation to deal with, but it looks like you will be able to overcome that as well. All right, so from the Four Agreements deck, we have Don't Make Assumptions. Here we go. And it says, be aware of unconscious assumptions. Right? It says assumptions are made so fast and unconsciously most of the time because we have agreements to communicate this way. We have agreed that it is not safe to ask questions. We have agreed that if people love us, they should know what we want or how we feel. So interesting. I don't necessarily see that exact dynamic playing out in the spread, but in some ways, again, like I said, it feels like there's this thing where you're, again, right, like we said, wanting to see that concrete evidence of things playing out a certain way around you, right? But this could just be saying in that regard, if you're like, well, there's something you need, but you haven't clearly communicated that, right? Then maybe that would be the key to actually pushing that forward for you. Or if there's someone around you doing the same, right? You feel like, something's a little off there. It could be helpful to ask a question as well. All right, and from the Wisdom of the Oracle, we have community. There's the artwork, and the number is 8. All right, essential meanings says belonging, being seen and understood by others, like-minded connections, a sense of family and friendship, knowing your place in the world. So yeah, reading that made me think of the Two of Cups we see in the present. The Oracle's message says, this card signals a new affiliation with a group. Humans are social creatures, and we need to know we are useful to our families and communities. In a community, everyone has an important function and feels I matter. Membership in a group provides a sense of belonging, of kinship, and of purpose that comes from working together for the greater fulfillment of all. Perhaps you are part of a spiritual community or an artistic one. Perhaps you are in a learning community where you share your knowledge and love of education. Regardless of its form or focus, your community brings you joy. You will be inspired by it and want to contribute to it. Your contribution may be as small as showing up or as large as becoming its leader. No matter your position in the group, your presence is needed. So yeah, pretty strong message there, right? Like I said, ironically, you might have too many people coming to you and looking for guidance, and maybe that's jamming you up a little bit too. But overall, like I said, it looks like you will be able to manage whatever that is, seeing the strength card in the outcome. The relationship message says you're discovering the essential qualities that you share with another, and perhaps also those you don't share. There are times when you follow and the other person leads, and times when you lead and the other follows. The appearance of this card points to the importance of learning the proper dance between you and another. Accepting the truth that everyone has flaws is part of that dance. Yet you are also being asked to be aware of the dynamics that you don't want to repeat. You're in the perfect place to make changes in order to experience the best version of who you can be together. So, for those of you, if this is a relationship dynamic that you're looking for guidance on, it could be pointing to that Five of Pentacles energy there, right? Where you could just hit a bump in the road. If that's the case, it looks like things can straighten themselves out there too. And that could definitely be one of the dynamics, like we said, given that you guys have the Mercury retrograde going on right now. So maybe as December progresses, if there were any misunderstandings, those could be cleared up. The prosperity message says, whenever you're in a community of like-minded others, there is a powerful opportunity to reap great abundance. It's essential to ask, what can I contribute, rather than what can I get from this? Figure out a need and look to fill it. Something meaningful will manifest. Even if what manifests is small, it's a sign the doors of opportunity will swing open wider. There is also another meaning of this card to consider. Don't try to be all things to all people. Choose your role and be true to it, and serve from a sense of authenticity. There is no greater feeling of accomplishment than knowing you have purpose. So yeah, definitely a strong message there as well. Hopefully that resonated with you. We'll wrap up there. Hopefully you guys have a good holiday season, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.